so many books. I'm here with my May books. Yes, May. We are in June. We have 5 this time, so busy reading, I guess. I said it a couple times before. I don't really put pressure on myself to read, but yeah, sometimes it just rolls. So let's get started and look at number 1. 1 second. There we go. It's Guards by Terry Pratchett. So this is I understand. Oh, what's the series called? Does it say here? Discworld. Thank you. A Discworld novel. So this is a Discworld novel. It's not like the first. It's somewhere in between. I don't know if it says which number it is, but I heard there it is. The Discworld series. So Guards is actually number 8. But I believe the first one, like with the characters and location where we are here. So I didn't like just jump into the 8th book of a like chronologically running series. As I understand it, my friend explained it to me that like you would like recognize things, and I think like stuff is referenced that I would now have been missed by me, but I was told that Guards is a good entry point, so so this is where so this is fantasy. So basically, it's a very funny story. Like huge humorous kind of. It's like watching. I almost kind of want to compare it to like old school cartoons, like very funny in a really good way, but they still can be serious in certain areas, and I like that. I had one major gripe, and I do need to say it, and then I will go back to just talking about the story. And that was, this book has no chapters at all, 0. Like there's like little star signs, I think sometimes, or not even that. No, it's just paragraphs. And when a paragraph switches, sometimes you switch POV, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you switch location, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have a flashback, sometimes you don't. And it's just extremely confusing to me, and it was one of the things why, especially in the beginning, I could not read this. Like the first 100 pages took me like 10 days. I just couldn't get through because I was so confused where I was, who I was, and the constant switching. It didn't feel natural to me. So that was a major gripe for me that took a whole star away. Just because I don't understand, like chapters, they do something for you. Also, I'm one of those readers, like I like when a chapter is done, you know, it feels good. It's like, next chapter, like completed. So that could also be a very then personal thing for me, I suppose. But I truly think chapters have a point in books and they should be there. So that was my major gripe with this one. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, now story, let's talk about it. So Guards, is there a main person? It's difficult to say. So basically you have a group of guards, shock, and they just got a new recruit, a lovely guy named Carrot. He is a human that grew up with dwarves, but he's basically behaving like a dwarf. It's very funny. It's awesome. He is a little bit light in the head, shall we say, but he's very literate. Is that what you call it when you read a lot? So he reads a lot, and like he can remember so well, like even pages and something like that. So like when he read like the guards manual when he was supposed to join them, like he knew all the tiny little rules, and like already on his first day he goes and arrests like tons of people in the city because they were doing like very small silly things, because officially it's that's like arrest worthy. It's very funny. He's super, and he's also very literal. Like when you say something to him, he will take you word for word and he will execute according to that. And once like Captain Wimes, which is another character, the captain of the Night Watch. Oh, and it's specifically the Night Watch. I didn't say that. So they're the night guys that we're following here. Captain Wimes, Samuel Wimes or Sam. So he kind of figures that out, and then he uses Carrot in really smart ways, and it's very entertaining, very funny. I love that. So Vimes was probably, must be my favorite. I think so. And then we also had, what was it, Corporal Knob, who's like the kind of like the minimalist guy, doesn't want to do much, like always wants to have a drink, always just wants to like enjoy his life. And then we had, what was the fourth one? Sergeant Colum, that's right. He was like more the kind of serious person, or trying to be like the one that actually has a life, actually has a family, something like that. And then those four basically make up our night watch, and they have to deal with suddenly people vanishing, and then we're finding burn marks, and then we're finding, maybe you guessed it, dragon signs. Like, how could a dragon be here? And I think in the world, if I now remember correctly, dragons were not supposed to be there anymore. So like in the beginning, no one really believes that this could be dragon related, and things like that. So our dear guards here do also, like, in a sense, a little bit of detective work, and also Kara does a lot of that, which is very funny. But basically in the end it goes about, oh, what's the city called? I don't remember which city we are, sorry. But basically it's like a power struggle in that city, and people using, for example, the night guards who have been like reduced to being basically laughing stock. So then when Carrot comes in and goes actually arresting people are like, what the fuck is happening? The night watch is doing something, and it's very comical in a good way. I laughed several times out loud. And yeah, and then we also have, what's her name, Lady Sybil. She's yeah, I'm pretty sure she's like this noble lady, and but she has an obsession with dragons. But she has something, I believe they were called swamp dragons, which were like just small kind of dragons. And she was like what do you call it? Not hurting them. She was like raising them. That's word for it. Why can't I think of it? But anyway, so she has like loads of those swamp dragons, and then once like people start sort of believing that this actually could be a dragon, she like gets like attacked, and then the night watch helps her, and she helps them and understand dragons, and it's a huge mess. But it's a good fun mess, and slowly the story progresses, and it was a nice twist on who's who. There's also this one guy who was like was he the leader? He has a very special title. I don't now remember what it was, like a governor, but it was a different word. I don't remember. But anyway, Lord Vetinari, I'm not 100% sure how you would pronounce that. So so at some point, like, people think he's involved, and he gets basically put in prison. And then, I don't want to spoil too much, but I just have to mention that one scene because it's probably my favorite scene. Let's just say at some point we see into that prison cell. I'm not gonna say how or who or how, yeah. So at one point we see into that prison cell, and he basically managed to get a whole group of rats working for him. And it's just so random, but it's so good. So he's basically king of the prison cell. And he has like food, and he has like people serving. Just like, as I was reading that, I was just sitting there with mouth open, like, what? How did he do it? So good. I loved it. So as you hopefully heard, even besides my major gripe, but I do hold fast on that one. I think this would be even better if it just feels lazy. Why didn't you make chapters? I'm sorry, it just feels like the author was too lazy. So other than that, so that's why it got 4 stars. So that was Guards by Terry Pratchett from the Discworld series. And then I read next up, I have too many books today. No, don't fall. 1 second. Okay. Ah! No, the other one falls. Okay. I got it, sort of. Albert Camus, The Fall. So this is about, what's his name? Jean-Baptiste Clermont, I think? Yes. So he's a lawyer from Paris, and when we start with him, I think he's in Amsterdam. And it's basically, well, as the title says, The Fall. So it's, he is like this very good lawyer, and he's like basically seeking out people to help. Like he would sometimes even offer his lawyer services basically for free or something like that, etc., etc., etc. So like in a sense, like, but he's like telling us how he sees himself, and he's like talking about how he sought out to be seen, how he sought out to be seen as the Good Samaritan, how he like looked for people in trouble, how he wanted to make himself feel so good. So he helped lots and lots of people, but like he's like saying basically that he only did it for, in the end, for his own gain, because he wanted people to love him, because he wanted people to look up to him and admire him, but that like in truth he didn't really feel that way or something like that. And then he has like this realization at some point in his life that, wait, I'm not actually a good person. And then he has like an existential crisis. So basically this is what this book is about. It's very, very short, so that's why it's called The Fall. So from being like this super charitable, super nice guy, to realizing I'm a douchebag. And then basically you read about like, also like I said, so we already started in Amsterdam when this has already happened. Then we kind of go back, and here like he himself is like, he's not talking to you, but he says you, but I believe it's meant to be someone at the bar where he's at, or it's actually meant us, I don't know, but he talks to you and he tells you his story. And sometimes he writes as if you've asked the question, then he will answer it. It's actually very interesting. So yeah, philosophical kind of text, existentialism, what is truly a good person, that kind of exploration. I liked it good enough. I couldn't fully get extremely invested, so but it was good, so I gave it 3 stars. So that was Albert Camus, The Fall. Next up, let's see, now we can do that without losing. I read Longshadow by Olivia Atwater. So this is is it a series? I believe it is. If so, it's the 3rd book with Half a Soul and 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater. So we're in the same like England Regency era, and we are talking about fairies exist in the world, and they're real. So Longshadow is then about Abigail, who is the adopted daughter by our protagonist from the 1st book. I don't really want to say it because the 1st book is actually my favorite, and I don't want to spoil stuff. So yeah, so most important thing, it's about Abigail. Oh no, I do need to say a few things. Okay, I guess I'll put spoiler tag on from now on, because I can't really talk about the book at all without mentioning the people from the 1st book, because it's heavily about them as well. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So spoilers for the 1st book, not necessarily for this one. So if you have read the 1st book, you can stay. But anyway, so in the 1st book, Theodora, or Dora, who is the girl with half a soul, she ends up together with Elias Wilder, who is the court magician in this story, or in these stories. And they basically saved Abigail from the same fairy that had what's his name, I don't remember, but the same fairy that had Lord Brimstone or something, that had half of Dora's soul. And so Abigail was saved, so she didn't die. And then there is also the ghost boy, what's his name, who had died, but like Abigail found a way so that he as a ghost can walk in the real world. And these are basically our main people. And here in Longshadow, it's about girls suddenly start like falling asleep and dying. And so they of course think magic is involved for fairy. Elias apparently goes to confront Longshadow, thinks it's one of his what are they called? Let me see if I can. Sloa. I will write that out. Sloa. It's like the name of the creature. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Because they are known to like take, or their job is to ferry dead people to the other side, but they're not supposed to kill. So Elias, so basically the idea is that Elias and Dora can't do shit. Sorry. Because he has then used some binding magic on Longshadow because he thinks he's the culprit, and so he needs to constantly keep this up. If I'm perfectly honest, it's an acceptable excuse, and still it feels forced. So my main issues with this story, so then Abigail goes and like becomes investigator. Everyone warns her, she ignores it, but also nothing happens, zero consequences, more or less. And so she's learning magic from her adopted father, from Elias, and of course she's just better at it. I don't know, I just felt like this is for me, like, it lost all the magic that the first two had. The first one was definitely the best, like I said, and oh wait, I guess we're outside spoilers now, so I hope everyone remember that, me, when I do the editing. And it just, yeah, it's just like having them in the story, these characters that I'm now not naming anymore, and then but basically shoving them to the side in favor of a little girl. It just was too YA. I guess the first two ones are also officially YA, but this one felt childish IA. I don't know how else to describe it. At the same time, dialogues are pretty good, the mystery is actually pretty good. I liked some of the twists, so it wasn't like a bad novel. It's just like, for me, it was just too tropey. Of course, the little girl progeny better than everyone, and yeah. And like, she's smart when she needs to be, and when we want something to go wrong, she's suddenly dumb. That kind of thing. So anyway, that was Longshadow. I know I didn't explain too much about what was happening, but yeah, it's mostly about this mystery, what happens to these young ladies that just suddenly die in their sleeps, and we're trying to figure it out and then fix it. That's the fast version. Oh gosh. Yeah. Then we have Anne of the Island. Third book in the Anne of Green Gables series by Ellen Montgomery. Oh, this is difficult. So I loved Anne of Green Gables. I also liked the second book very, very much. So we're following again Anne Shirley from Avonlea, and this time she goes to college and explores feelings and yeah, and love and study, and like being scared of the future and having to care for yourself and things like that. So yeah, so why I have such issue talking about this book, that was all fine until we reach a point in the book where first they try to kill a stray cat, and that's okay. They attempt to kill it by putting it in a box with something poisonous and having the box like completely sealed, and then they expect the next morning to lift the box and the cat is dead. That was the goal, and everyone was supportive of that and thought it was a good idea. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You just kill a cat, and then it didn't die because apparently there was a hole or something, so it wasn't enough to kill it. Then they decide to keep it, which was like so fucking hypocritical. So I got really, really mad at that, and I was like really feeling sick to my stomach. And then just 2 or 3 or whatever chapters later, a dude kills a dog. He's like, oh, he had enough with his dog, so he hung it up. And then again, that didn't kill it the first time, so he had to hang it again. And then he buried it. And I was just like, what am I reading? I'm sorry, no. It doesn't matter the rest that's in this book. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. That is so not okay. And the nonchalant way that they're talking about it, and everyone agrees, and it's like, oh yeah, he killed his dog. Yeah, he had to do it. He was sick of it. What the fuck? Then don't get a pet. Oh my. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. So no, 0 stars. Fuck off. Sorry. That just really, really hit me. Like, oh, not okay. Okay, let's change to something very good. The Emperor's Soul by Sanderson. So, not my first Sanderson. I read the Mistborn series, which I liked the first part. The second one, not so much. So we're talking 3 books plus 3 books. No, 3 books plus 4 books. But regardless, now we're talking about the Emperor's Soul. This was so cool. It's actually so small. I wish, when I was done with this one, I wish he would have made a big story out of this one. So here we have, what's her name? I wrote it down. Van Shailu. Yeah. So this is about, so in this world we have a magic system where they can learn to carve stamps. And then these stamps can then, basically when you carve them, you can tell them the soul or the history or the type of thing. So a ugly looking clay pot can become a beautiful Chinese vase, right? If you basically stamp it, and then in that stamp you include the history that the clay came from the same the same production site as all the other Chinese vases, and that you're in a sense convincing the object itself it is a beautiful vase, and then it turns into that. And that is a simple thing. And the more interesting thing is you can even do it then with humans. And what's her name? Van Shailu. So I guess Shai would be first name, right? So she is very, very good at this. So she's forging paintings and art pieces and creating duplicates of that by convincing a simple canvas to become that art, and then she can steal the original, things like that. But when we start the book, she's captured. She's in a prison cell. And there's special prison cells where many different types of stones are used, because again, otherwise if it's one type of stone that comes from one quarry, she can try and carve a stamp because there is stuff laying around, and try and tell it that it comes from somewhere else and that it's actually brittle, and then she could break out and things like that. It's super, super interesting. A very, very cool magic system. And so, but anyway, and then the crux of the story is that she, on the day before her execution, they basically make a deal with her, because apparently the emperor was, there was an assassination attempt. He survived, but he's comatose. And they basically want her to make a soul stamp, so a stamp that then represents his soul, so similar to the soul of a rock or the soul of a vase or the soul of the object XYZ. She is supposed to make a soul stamp for the human being that should stick. So, and then basically we follow her as she agrees, she doesn't want to be executed. So then we follow her trying to achieve that, but at the same time trying to find a way out. But at the same time, she's very intrigued by this kind of huge work, because no one had achieved something like this before. At the beginning, she would even say this is completely impossible. You can do some soul stamp, they stick for an hour or two. They can make you a bit stronger. You can just tell yourself in your own history, oh, you were trained in martial arts, and then that would stick, but that wouldn't stay. But so then she works on that, and we follow her, we follow the guards, some are really despised with her. We have different magic where they also do a blood seal. So every morning there's this blood sealer guy that comes to take her blood and then seals the door. So at all times he would know where she is and she couldn't break out, which is obviously a big problem for her. And then there's this Azru that just hates anything magic related and just despises her and looks at her every single time that he wants to kill her and things like that. And it's super interesting, it's super cool. It's so difficult to summarize it and not spoil it, but this short, I think I didn't read it in one afternoon, but in 2. You probably could read it in 1. It was so good. I loved it. It was very interesting. It didn't overstay its welcome. Obviously, it's very short. Vice versa, like I said, I wish we would start when she was younger, when she learned this stuff. Maybe even have the whole when she was captured, because again, we start the story when she's already captured. I would love to have a story of all of that. That would be so cool. This was so good. The whole stamping and soul stones and like having a magic that is based on the history of stuff, and or you also need to be a little bit inventive, and it was so cool. Just yeah, I hope I'm getting that across. So that was The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson, and that was book number 5, right? Yeah, we made all. Nice. So ta-da, 5 books for the month of May, and that's all. I'm a little bit late again. It's already at the end of June. Sorry about that. It's just good weather. I'm outside. I'm not doing stuff in here, so that's my excuse. But hey, as always, I hope you're taking care of yourself. Don't forget about that. Hope you're reading, and yeah, maybe see you next time. Bye bye.